AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Off and running, hour number 3 after further review. Here on a Thursday, Musso in for Moscona, Luke Foster, Paul O'Neill. They're along for the ride. And fired up to have you along for the ride here as well. Maybe you're just punching the clock, getting in the car, heading home from work. We appreciate you making us a part of your day and your commute very, very much. Great show so far, man. 2 hours in the books. We got one more full hour here to go. Still got to get to Otter Locks, ESPN. They have released their preseason college football FPI for 2026. It is quite favorable for LSU in that regard. So we have to get to that. A brief few thoughts on that as well. So plenty here to get to. Earlier in the show, we discussed a portion of Tyler Shough's appearance on Chris Long's podcast. That portion dealt with Juwan Johnson, and Tyler Shough saying he's the most underrated player on the Saints offense. Also, in that wide-ranging interview that Shough gave, he raved about his potential 1-2 punch at wide receiver. That, of course, being Chris Olave and Jordan Tyson. He really went in depth on Tyson, but let's start first with Shough's thoughts on both Olave and Tyson. You'll hear him address Olave first.
He's special because, you have in theory speed guys or kind of like finesse or feel guys. And I think he's like kind of the perfect combination of both, where you can run option routes or overs or sails or basics with him, but that he also is going to run a go ball or a double move because he has that 4.3 speed. That's pretty hard to get, as far as when you can kind of run these shorter intermediate routes and have the understanding to settle here in this zone, unlike maybe like a true 6'5" I think he's got that interchangeability. And then you add in a guy like Jordan Tyson, who's kind of a carbon copy of him when it comes to that feel with these underneath routes, but also big playability. I think it's going to be pretty unique.
The interchangeability is obviously what makes Chris Olave. I mean, he can do so many different things. And him saying carbon copy, that's got to get you excited. I mean, the only difference is Tyson's a little bigger, a little bit more physical than Chris Olave. But I mean, if he has that same, we'll use Shough's word, interchangeability, then let's go. I mean, if you just drafted a 6'2", 200-pound guy that can do everything that Chris Olave can, you're going to be a nightmare for defenses. But then again, with Jordan Tyson, his ability was never the question. No one in evaluating this draft or in evaluating this draft pick by the New Orleans Saints ever said, it's a reach, man. I don't know if he can really play. I wasn't the conversation. Everybody knew, oh no, when he's healthy and right, he's the best receiver in the draft. The conversation was, he's going to be healthy, he's going to be right. And if he is, Tyler Shough just told you drafted a bigger, stronger Chris Olave. Shough also was asked by Chris Long to describe Jordan Tyson's physical ability, like his physicality. And this answer was really, really intriguing.
I mean, his brother's NBA player for the Cavs, Jalen, and he's kind of just like an elite hooper. Like he's going to go, he's going to hoop regardless. Like he's going to go jump out the gym on somebody. He's going to get open in the most crazy way. But he's also kind of got this grittiness to him that I feel like not a lot of people get him credit for. But, obviously I'm still very early on as far as, not a whole year. So I'm kind of excited to see what he can do when it comes to just a full workload. And it's hard coming in as a rookie, especially a higher pick and, putting pressure on yourself. He cares about it so much. And I think the biggest thing for him is going to be able to just be out there, be consistent. And so far, even in the walkthroughs and practices, I don't think he's messed up a rep. So he's really smart. So I think we just got to continue it and see where we can go. And it takes all of us.
Basketball on grass. Anybody up for that? Loved that answer, man. Describe his physical ability. He's like an elite hooper. I mean, his brother's in the NBA. He's got a lot of those same traits. And they speak to the athleticism right there of a guy like Jordan Tyson. I mean, and look, you see those skill sets mesh plenty. Basketball, football. I mean, like you see those guys who excel at one sport normally able to do pretty darn well at the other. I mean, is there a better example in New Orleans Saints history than Jimmy Graham? Don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you Jordan Tyson's Jimmy Graham. But those guys are much different in stature. But it's the concept of that, right? Where it's just like, he's basically just like an elite basketball player out there. He can jump, he can get out, get open in the craziest ways. I mean, all right. But again, that goes into what we talked about, where that's awesome to hear and it fires you up. But again, that was never the question. Everyone knew his ability and how elite of an athlete that he is. It's the health portion of it. And Tyler Shough touched on that a little bit too when talking about Jordan Tyson in his reaction to when the Saints drafted Jordan Tyson.
I had some connections at Arizona State and who had said great things about him and his journey. He'd been injured quite a few times. We both broken collarbones. He's had a knee. He was battling kind of a hammy there at the end of the year. And that was kind of the story with me coming out of the draft was I had some injuries in the past. And I was like, man, screw this. I'm just going to go out there and be myself. And I feel like that's the best part about him. Getting to know him is that he's just one of one person. And obviously kind of getting to work with him in camp as we kind of continue to go forward is going to be even more exciting.
I love that they kind of have that kindred spirit thing right there with the injuries. I mean, I also love that Tyler Shough was aware of him through context at Arizona State, but them kind of having that deal in common where Tyler Shough says, that was kind of the thing on me. I was always injured in college, and, I fell to the second round because of it, but I said, I know I can play. The hell with that. I'm going to be myself. I'm just going to go out there, not going to think about it, not let it impact me, and look what happened with Tyler Shough a year ago. I like that Jordan Tyson kind of has that guy, especially as his quarterback, to kind of lean on, who went through this a year ago where those questions surrounded him in the draft, and he just said, all right, and went and balled out anyway. And they were cautious with Tyler Shough, bringing him along in the offseason, even in that quarterback competition, and they've done the same thing with Chris Olave, where he's been on the limited work, not a lot of team activity for Jordan Tyson. Like, they have their plan to keep him healthy. And Jordan Tyson has talked about that. He talked about that on draft night. Man, I should have pulled this clip. He talked about that on draft night where he laid out the full, I'm going to do this with my workout. I got me a chef that I've hired to keep me the proper nutrition. I mean, he went through all of it. That guy stays healthy, and you get to see a bigger carbon copy of Chris Olave, and you can just start to really, really, really get excited about the New Orleans Saints. You can hear the excitement in Tyler Shough's voice. And if that doesn't fire you up, I don't really know what does. All right. It's after further review. Musso in for Moscona. Before we hit our break, AFR is brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first two floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center. And it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
All right, it's out further review. Thursday edition, as I said, Musso in for Moscona. We got to grab a break. When we come back, ESPN has released their preseason FPI for 2026. Take a brief look at that. We might actually circle back and dive deeper into that tomorrow once again. But I do have some surface level thoughts just on the little bit that's been released, strength of schedule, the ranking, and all of that. So I do want to get into that a little bit more here as we continue along on our Thursday edition of AFR. So stick around.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all eights. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
Summer is here. Maybe you're looking to upgrade that ride before the family road trip. Get on by South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, or online at southpointvw.com. Southpointvw.com. Told you for years, they're Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. Maybe you need that full-size family SUV. Make sure you go test drive the Atlas. That's what Erica drives. It's the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. Tons of space to accommodate our family, all our bags, all the beach stuff as well. Go test drive one today at South Point Volkswagen. Remember, you can shop them online, new and certified pre-owned. So if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, great selection. Say it all the time. They're the largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They move more new inventory, so they have more pre-owned trade-in inventory as well. So make sure you shop their pre-owned vehicles over at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction?
Well, you know you're getting close. You know you're getting close to fall camp opening, or at least the media day circuit, which we're already in. Big 12 media days was this week, but you're getting close when ESPN drops the preseason FPI. That happened here this afternoon, about right as we came on the show. Still kind of waiting for the full write-up of that to be posted like over at ESPN, but we do have really the three most important things. That's the preseason FPI ranking, the FPI strength of schedule, and the odds to make, or I should say the percent chance to make the college football playoff. Let's run through it a little bit, and it is all pretty favorable here to LSU. So if you just look at the ESPN preseason FPI ranking, Ohio State is number one, followed by Texas, and then Notre Dame, Oregon, and Georgia round out your top five. Your defending champion, Indiana Hoosiers, which, what did I just say? But yeah, your defending champion, Indiana Hoosiers, coming at number 6. LSU does crack the top 10. They come in at number 9. So a really, really solid early preseason FPI ranking there for LSU. The metric seems to like the Tigers an awful lot. Miami was 7th. Alabama 10th, which is pretty intriguing. Texas Tech at 10, or excuse me, Alabama was 8th. Texas Tech at 10th rounded out your top 10. If you're looking for other opponents in this, there are plenty for LSU just in the top 30 if you look at that. So if you're looking at LSU opponents in the top 30, obviously Texas, Alabama, Texas A&M, Ole Miss is in there, Tennessee is in there, and Clemson is 19. Clemson's in the top 20 here in the FPI, which is also really intriguing. Again, it's not the be-all, end-all metric there, is it? But it's something. I mean, the things it looks for, it can like certain teams. I mean, you see teams that aren't ranked top 25 that obviously are ranked pretty highly in the FPI. I think that's what you're going to see with Clemson. I don't really know if you expect to see Clemson in an actual preseason top 25, like when the AP poll comes out. Maybe they will be to pump up the matchup with LSU a little bit, so it's a top 25 game. But you know that. So that's your LSU opponents in the top 30. It was Texas, Bama, A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Clemson. Not only are in the top 30. Oh, and Auburn. Excuse me. And Auburn. I missed Auburn there. Auburn at 22, man. It's going to be a really interesting first season for Alex Golish there with on the Plains. So that's seven of your opponents. Did I count that right? Texas, Bama, A&M, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Clemson. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 9. 9 of your opponents are in the top 25 of the FPI, which brings me to the next metric. ESPN's FPI strength of schedule. LSU has the 11th ranked strength of schedule in this deal, which finally, like, we did a whole segment on this a week ago when I was in for Matt about, I think it was Bud Elliott. And he's not, not singling him out. He ain't the only one that said this. He just said it the week that we happened to do the segment on it, that LSU has the easiest schedule in the SEC, or that LSU's schedule is easy in general. In no way is LSU's schedule easy. Now, is it as tough as Arkansas? No. Arkansas is the hardest schedule in the country, and they do every year because Arkansas apparently just pissed off the college football gods and the SEC office, and they just get saddled with an absolutely brutal schedule. Arkansas opens up at Utah this year. Which, why? So LSU, 11th ranked strength of schedule. Now, when you look at that in terms of the SEC in this FPI, it is on the lighter side. I will concede that. But it is an absolutely brutal schedule when you put it up against the rest in the nation. So, LSU schedule ain't easy. Stop saying that. If you've said that, stop saying that. I don't know where you got that from. LSU schedule ain't easy. And it's more the spots on that schedule that are brutal too. And then, with all that in mind, where they rank FPI, their strength of schedule, the road they'll have to travel, we look at FPI's chances to make the college football playoff. Not win it, make it, which we talked about earlier in the show, has to be the baseline expectation. That's the floor for LSU. You have to make the college football playoff. On paper. I understand injuries happen, things of that nature that can obviously change that narrative and spin that a little bit. But assuming all stays equal, you stay healthy, that's the baseline. FPI gives LSU a 39.7% chance to make the college football playoff. Almost 40%. That is the 10th best odds. You can look at that and say, all right, they project in if they're 10th best, right? There's 12 teams, and that's true. But, really you have to be in the top 11 because the group of 5 is going to get at least one. Hopefully they only ever get one ever again, but at least one spot in there. But you're in the top 11 when it comes to the best percentage chances. Now, the other caveat with that as well is in that top 11, there is 5 SEC teams. Only 5 SEC teams are going to make the college football playoff this year. So you're going to have to beat others. Teams on LSU's schedule that are ahead of them in the percentage chance to make the college football playoff. Texas has a near 70% chance to make the college football playoff. Alabama is 1 spot in front of LSU, which that kind of makes you just want to crumple FPI up and throw it out the window, doesn't it? Because, there is not a single college football playoff projection out there right now. Nobody, and I get it, it's people's opinion, but no one is picking Alabama to make the playoff this year. I don't see how a team with that big of a question at quarterback could be that high. But I guess they're assuming Keelan Russell pans out, in his first year starting in the SEC, which, how does that normally go? First year starting quarterbacks in the SEC. But Alabama's 1 spot ahead of LSU, and then Texas A&M is 1 spot behind LSU. They're on the schedule there. Georgia also in there at 63.7. If you're wondering who has the best chance, it's Ohio State. Ohio State has the best chance to make the college football playoff. 75.7%. Notre Dame follows them at 74.4. Of course, Notre Dame's schedule is a freaking joke. It's not going to happen. And I understand. I understand it's not going to happen because all the committee looks at is your record. That's it. No matter what else they tell you they look at, it's a lie. They're lying to you. They look at your record. That's it. How many games do you win? And Notre Dame's schedule is a complete farce. It is a joke, however else you want to describe it. I'm going to run through it here for you momentarily and tell you what I wish would happen. Notre Dame plays Wisconsin, Rice, Michigan State, at Purdue, at North Carolina, Stanford, at BYU, Navy, Miami, which finally a tough game, Boston College, SMU, at Syracuse. The only games on there that I look at and go, Notre Dame has a chance of losing is a road trip to Provo and then facing Miami. The rest of that schedule is a joke. And Notre Dame has that stupid clause where if they're in the top 12 of the committee's final ranking, they're automatically in the playoff. They can't be left out. And that's also ridiculous. And this is what I wish would happen. And again, I know it won't. I know it won't happen because, again, the committee only looks at your record. But I wish Notre Dame would go like 11-1 against that schedule. Maybe drop the game to Miami or drop a tough road trip to Provo and go 11-1. And because their schedule is so weak, the committee puts them at 13. And they're left out anyway, and they're penalized for playing that. And their stupid little clause that they just get in the playoff automatically doesn't come into effect. Again, that's what I wish would happen. It won't. Notre Dame's going to blow through that schedule. They might go 12-0. And they'll be in the college football playoff. And then they'll come up short because that's what Notre Dame does in today's age of college football. But when you look at the rest of the strength of the schedule rankings that we just went through, man, and I mean, you look at what these SEC teams are going through, and the Big Ten, even the Big Ten team, Ohio State, 8th ranked strength of schedule. Northwestern, 17th ranked strength of schedule. Michigan, 16th ranked strength of schedule. Nebraska, 21. USC, 19. Washington, 25. Purdue, 23. Michigan State, 20. Washington, 20. Even the Big Ten teams are going through. And you flip and look at Notre Dame, and they just have a cakewalk and a guaranteed path into the playoff. The hell are we doing? That's so stupid. I'm not telling you that Notre Dame's not talented. I'm not telling you that Marcus Freeman isn't a great coach and that Mike Denbrock isn't a great offensive coordinator and that CJ Carr is not. He's probably going to be one of the top quarterbacks taken in April's draft. I'm not disputing any of that. I'm not telling you that if Notre Dame won't make a run in the college football playoff. Maybe they will win a few games. Make some noise. I'm just saying, if Notre Dame's schedule doesn't just spit in the face of this entire process that you're trying to pass off as legitimate, if that doesn't just drive it home for you that they're going to get into the playoff unopposed with that schedule when everybody else is playing tough, then what is anyone doing? What is anyone doing? I mean, at that point, we should all, again, this would never happen, but I mean, at that point, we should all just abolish conferences and play whoever we want and make the easiest schedule possible and go to and compete for a national championship that way. I didn't intend to just go on a rant about Notre Dame, but that's kind of what happened. That is going to irritate the hell out of me all year long. It really is. And I do a pretty good job. I really do. I do a pretty good job of not letting things like that bother me when it comes to college football. But that one bothers me. Because it should matter, and it won't. And again, that's why when people complain about expanding the playoff more and what it does to the regular season, look what Notre Dame's doing to the regular season. Look at that. Look at that. Look, Indiana. Indiana never play anybody in the pre-conference, and they go through their Big Ten schedule. They play 2 or 3 tough games. That one bothers me. And those things normally don't. But that one really kind of pisses me off. So I hope Notre Dame loses. No, I don't hope Notre Dame loses all their games. I do. I hope that Notre Dame goes 11-1, like I just said, and the committee penalizes them from their schedule and puts them 13th and they miss the playoff. It's not going to happen. I know that. But I kind of hope that it does. For some reason, that one bothers me. All right, we're going to grab a break. That went a completely different direction than I thought that it would. But anyway, we'll grab a break. We'll come back on the other side. We got to hit a floating live here, Luke. I don't know where we are. Are we on Arco? No, we did Hancock. Arco. AFR is brought to you by Arco.
Love telling you about Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. That's Arco Power Systems. We talk about generators a lot in Louisiana, especially all along the Gulf Coast, where we're sort of in this storm belt right here in the Gulf Coast. Well, of course, a lot of people have home standby generators. When we talk about Arco Power Systems, these are not home standby generators. This is industrial generator power. This is for your business. I mean, just think about it. When the power goes out, be it a hurricane, an ice storm, snow like we had last year, power goes out. What do you do with your business? Well, being offline is not an option. That's why you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. Just look at all the locations. Baton Rouge, Bossier, Harvey, Lake Charles, Mandeville, Mobile, LaPorte, Texas, San Antonio, Little Rock, Houston, Dallas. They're everywhere. So if you're a business and you need standby power for your business, you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com.
All right, we'll grab a break. Big 12 Media Days has wrapped up, and we have a projected winner of the conference. I've got a brief thought on that. We won't spend too much time on it, but I do want to go through it here next on a Thursday edition of AFR, so stick around.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Yes, hormone replacement therapy. Yes, NAD+. Yes, BPC 157. Yes, ED treatment. The bottom line is, gentlemen, I don't care how old you are. It's about how old you feel. And do you want to feel like you did when you were younger? Do you want to live a more vital life? Do you want to live a more energetic life where you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the floor, and you're rip-roaring ready to go, where you're motivated to get in the gym, where you have a great libido, where you have great mindset, energy, mental clarity, memory, all that sort of stuff? It's possible. It's affordable. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help you do it. Hormone replacement therapy could be a giant part of that for you. NAD Plus can literally help your cellular optimization to make you younger at a cellular level. BPC 157, tremendous in helping in recovery. Learn Our Lady of the Lake in LSU, as we say, together we roar. Part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. And, I love telling you about Our Lady of the Lake because whenever we talk about healthcare, Our Lady of the Lake understands the two things primarily that people want are access and convenience. And they knock that out of the park. Whether it be at the Regional Medical Center, if it's the Lake After Hours, if it's any of the specialty services that you may need, heart, stroke, cancer, pediatrics, you want the best. You want Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more about the Championship Health Partnership, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.
All right, so Big 12 Media Days wrapped up on Wednesday afternoon. Here on Thursday, the coaches poll was published. So this is how this works. The Big 12 discontinued their preseason media poll a couple of years ago, which bravo to them. I mean, I think we always talk about that here every year, how big of a farce the SEC preseason media poll is, where people don't take it seriously and pick Vanderbilt to win the league, or hell, Vanderbilt was actually pretty darn good last year, but you know what I mean. Or some people just don't even vote at all. So the Big 12 was just like, yeah, why do we even need that? Let's just get rid of it. So actually kind of bravo, round of applause to them for doing that. So what On 3 did is actually what I think is much better. On 3 polls the coaches, gives them anonymity, and asks them to select the championship game and the winner. They tallied up, and that's how you get your preseason Big 12 champion. Comes from the coaches. I think you can get a much more reliable answer there than, just the media. Now, I say that to say this. I think you can get that except for the one coach who picked Iowa State to win the Big 12 with a first-year head coach. Now, they're granted anonymity, but seeing that, I can only imagine that the coach who voted for that is Jimmy Rogers, the new head coach at Iowa State. That's look, not really trying to call Jimmy out, but I'm trying to call him out a little bit. Unless someone's just trying to poke some fun at him by doing that, I'm pretty sure that guy just picked his own team to win the Big 12, which does kind of invalidate this a little bit. But when we go through the rest of this, you'll see that everybody else, I feel like, took it pretty seriously, except for the one coach who, I'm not saying it was Jimmy Rogers at Iowa State. I'm not saying it was Jimmy Rogers at Iowa State. Picked Cyclones to win the Big 12. BYU. That's your preseason Big 12 champion. So BYU got 6 of the 16 votes for the champion. The most popular matchup was obviously BYU versus Texas Tech, which would be a rematch from last year. Kalani Sitake, man, he's built a heck of a program, really good quarterback over there as well. They got outclassed by Texas Tech twice a season ago. We'll see if they can kind of exercise that demon. It would have been really interesting. That was really the intrigue, is this to see where Texas Tech went, what the coaches thought of them now that Brendan Sorsby won't be the quarterback. And, well, runner-up is where Texas Tech finished there, falling to BYU. Utah did get 2 votes to win the Big 12, which, again, first-year head coach. That's a little interesting there, too. Houston got 2 votes to win the Big 12. Makes a little sense there, man. Houston, they turned in a 10-win campaign a year ago. Obviously beat LSU in the bowl game, but what does that really mean? I don't know, but they beat LSU in the bowl game. Connor Wegman is back as their starting quarterback, so it makes sense. Willie Fritz, really good coach, has won conferences before. Like, he's got a good acumen. That makes sense. The other interesting one was Arizona. Arizona got a vote to win the Big 12, but for the most part, BYU, and again, voted on by the league's coaches. So that's intriguing, man. For what it's worth, BYU also got the most votes to make the championship game. So 13 of the 16 votes to make the championship game went to BYU. They did also, as they got the 6 votes to win the championship, which gave them the majority. They also got 7 runner-up finishes in there as well. I mean, you can just, put the obvious addition and subtraction there. So, big things expected from the Cougars over there in the BYU Cougars, I should say, because Houston's the Cougars too, but BYU Cougars over there in the Big 12 here in 2026. So there you have it. The coaches in the Big 12, except for who we assume was Jimmy Rogers, and picked his own team. Picked BYU to win the conference title. All right. CFR, Thursday edition. Musso in for Moscona here. Scone's back on Monday. It's been a while, man. Scone's been out for 2 weeks. This is tomorrow will be the 8th straight AFR without Scone, and then he'll be back on Monday. And man, we'll have a bunch to talk about. Obviously, their money, the MLB draft will be in the rear view. I'm sure he's going to want to talk about a few of the things that he missed while he was out. He'll be rested, rejuvenated, ready to go. So we have that to look forward to, obviously, on Monday when Scone gets back. Until then, you got me, and we're going to wrap up Thursday edition of AFR next with Otter Locks.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources. If you are a business owner, if you're an HR manager, a VP, an ops manager, if you're the person in charge of hiring at your job, at your place of business, and you're having trouble finding the right people, you need Glow Resources. And I want to remind you, Glow Resources, they're exceptional when it comes to skilled blue-collar workers and also white-collar divisions. Remember, Glow Resources has a full professional placement division. So we're talking about office administrators, executive-level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job. Accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. If you're having trouble finding those people and sometimes hard to fill roles, Glow Resources specialize. They recruit nationwide. For example, they had a Baton Rouge company that was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to work the job in California. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online today. glowresources.com. Tell you every day, better coverage for less money. And man, my friends over at Insurance Network of Louisiana are crushing it for Louisianians on their auto insurance right now. Listen, if you have not had anyone shop for your auto insurance lately, you got to call Insurance Network of Louisiana. My goodness. They got some top-rated companies, Geico, Progressive. They're doing awesome work right now. This was an amazing story that I heard. They wrote one last week, saved the client $2,911 annually. They had a high auto rate with State Farm. They smashed it with Geico. They had another one save $1,476 annually with Progressive. They had Allstate and switched. Y'all, I tell you all the time, if you're just auto-renewing your insurance, man, you're probably overpaying and you're underinsured. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana help. lainsurance.net.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, putting a button here on hour number 3, putting a button on the Thursday edition of AFR. Musso in for Moscona. You know we can't leave out of here without getting in on the action. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how's it going, man?
MLB games, and then we have an early pick for tomorrow's World Cup.
Let's
so
go.
A little bit of a shot at 6-1. Detroit looking for the sweep today against the A's. Quietly creeping back into contention in the American League Central. Soft number here, -30. Struggling pitcher for the A's. I'm going to take the Tigers -131. And these are the lines when I called him in earlier. I don't know how you.
169 now for the Tigers.
Oh, geez. Well, that train has left the building. Don't bet it now. So, anyway, Philadelphia on the road here, -1.5, -105. Rubber game, the 3-game set in the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Philadelphia was down to 2 games in the National League East, but the Braves won their last 2 games, including the matinee today in Pittsburgh. We'd take Lado. We're taking, I'm forgetting the left.
Luzardo.
Yes, Luzardo.
Jesus, did you say Jesus?
-1.5. Let's take the Phillies. Texas -132. And we, at home, soft number here. They're playing better ball as of late. So soft. It's kind of again, we lost with them last night, so we're trying to get our money back. Volley got lit up last night. And San Diego has brought the bats out a little bit. They look for a sweep tonight. Downtown San Diego in Petco against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Padres -132. Moose, are we trying to compare these World Cup situations and teams to more mainstream sports that we cover on a regular basis? Well, you've got kind of a cross between Saban's earlier Alabama teams and Iowa. Very strong. Well,
no.
Easy, Hanny. So,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, again, they control the ball. They shorten the game, and they're excellent defensively. They have not given up a goal yet in this tournament. So that's the way they play. We're going to go with a 1-0 final in regular time. Spain 1, Belgium 0, plus 600 available at DraftKings.
Let's go. Heck yeah, man. Otter, you been dabbling in Wimbledon?
Yeah, not my best year in Wimbledon.
Okay.
I thought Coco had a real shot. Tremendous match. Got to be proud. I mean, an American athlete on an international big stage, and she competed her ass off on, Monday night. But anyway, I digress. She had a match point. She fought back from 4 points down in a 10-set tiebreaker. It's a 2 sets all, 3rd set tiebreaker, winner take all to advance to the finals. 9-8 first serve right down the tee. Mahova could barely block it back. She kind of got a sitter about the service line. She decides to drop shot. She puts it in the net. Mahova got the next 3 out of 4 points, and she steals it from her. Brutal match, but I mean, a great match as well. And how about your boy tomorrow? He's playing Zverev. So, look, Djokovic can't beat Sinner. There's no way, especially after a 5-hour match 2 days ago. Just not even on his best surface to beat Sinner on grass. But this local kid grew up 5-minute walk from the All England Lawn and Tennis Club. The Brit.
Wow.
He's not only a wild card. But he won his quarterfinal in straight sets, including a bagel in the 3rd. My man is hot. He's on his home court. Hey, maybe an athlete play on his home country, home turf can compete and battle and show some freaking grit.
Otter, you're still bitter. You're just still bitter about it on Monday night, man. Oh, it's okay. In 4 more years, we can get riled up about it again. Whenever.
I don't think we had a home field advantage in 4 years.
No, it's going to be in Spain, Morocco, and Portugal in 4 years. But the Detroit Tigers on the money line, the Phillies on the run line, Rangers money line, Padres money line, Spain 1, Belgium 0. Correct score in regular time plus 600. Those are your Otter Locks. Where are y'all tomorrow, Otter?
Come on, man. It's Friday.
Oh, God, it is Friday. It's Ruffino's. Oh, look at me. Yes, Ruffino's on Friday.
First day on the job, buddy?
Well, Otter, it's been a long week, man. It's been a long week, brother. We're making it towards the end. All right,
Good luck,
yes,
brother.
Ruffino's.
Right,
good
man.
luck. Y'all get by and see Jimmy and Hanny over there at Ruffino's 11-1 live at lunch. You can catch it here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Man, tomorrow is Friday. Man, it's kind of going to feel like a football Friday, too, tomorrow a little bit. I mean, Hanny and Ott, they're going to be at Ruffino's. We got Phil Steele tomorrow on AFR. Phil, man, I don't know if y'all got the preseason magazine. Phil, a little bit lower on the LSU Tigers than most. So we'll have to ask Phil all about that. Really looking forward to that conversation. So, man, how about that? It'll feel a little bit like a football Friday here on tomorrow's AFR. So definitely be back for that. Thank you to Joe Doyle for hopping on a little bit earlier today. He was great as always. Thank you to Luke. Thank you to Paul. Thank you to all of you for tuning in. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand is brought to you by Brett Goff. We're back tomorrow at 3 o'clock for AFR.
AFR.
We're running about First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit, firstsouthfarmcredit.com, firstsouthfarmcredit.com. Hey, remember, always encourage you to go to the website, firstsouthfarmcredit.com. If you're a farmer, no doubt you know about First South Farm Credit because they've been helping farmers buy agriculture land for more than 100 years. But if it's maybe it's that hunting property. Maybe it's just your recreational property in Mississippi. Maybe you want to go buy a ranch in Montana. They can help you buy land anywhere in the lower 48. Buying land is different than buying a home. You know that. So trust the people who have helped Louisianans buy land for more than 100 years. First South Farm Credit. Go to firstsouthfarmcredit.com, firstsouthfarmcredit.com. One more time, firstsouthfarmcredit.com. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit.